Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham Rekakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us the truth and who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the Akim that are spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kotas Upsayan from the GMS Holland branch, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. We're not lesson, we're not a video, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. So in this lesson, I want to go into the book of Zechariah 10 and verse 9. And it reads, "And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again." So this is the Most High speaking, talking to the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. They shall be in far countries, countries that they didn't know of, and they shall live with their children and turn again. So we were going to be spread across these other countries, spread across the four corners of the earth, which the four corners of the earth, those are the four, the four winds, let me say it like that, the north, south, east, and the west, the four corners of a compass. That's what it means with the four corners of the earth. And we would start to remember ourselves, like it says in the book of Baruch. There's Baruch 2. Verse 32. And it reads, "And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name." And that's exactly what we're doing right now, because me, myself, now I was first in Suriname, which is in South America. And then I traveled here to Holland, which Holland was had a big part in the transatlantic slave trade also. They had the East Indian Company and they had the West Indian Company, and the Dutch had a big hand in that. That was dealing with slave traders, trading the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let me see. This is in the Dutch. Let me see what Wikipedia says. This is in Wikipedia, Dutch West India Company. The Chartered West India Company, geoctroeerde West Indische Company, commonly known as the Dutch West India Company, was a Dutch chartered company that was founded in 1621 and went defunct in 1792. Among its founders were Rainier Paul, Willem Esselings, and Jesse de Forest. On the 3rd of June in 1621, it was granted a charter for a trade monopoly on the Dutch West Indies by the Republic of the Seven United Netherlands, and giving jurisdiction over Dutch participation in the Atlantic slave trade, you see? Brazil, the Caribbean, and North America. The area where the company could operate consisted of West Africa, which we all know by now that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, we were exiled out of our land, by Roman persecution, in the time of, let me see, yeah, the siege on Jerusalem. There was a siege on Jerusalem, and then we had to flee onto the mountains. And the mountains represented Africa, so we had to flee into Africa. And where did we settle? We settled in West Africa. You see, and these devils, the so-called white men, which the scripture called them Edomites, they knew that we settled over there in the west coast of Africa, so they conspired against us. You have the Amalek, who provided ships, and also Ishmael provided ships, and then you had them working together with the Hamites to round up the Israelites, But the northern tribes already were in the Americas because they traveled there, So it says the area where the company could operate consisted of West America, West Africa, between the Tropic of Cancer and the Cape of Good Hope, and the Americas, which included the Pacific Ocean and ended east of the Maluku Islands, according to the Treaty of Tordesillas. So you can read this for yourself, how it further worked out in the Dutch West Indies Company, but not to go too much off topic. So it says here, Baruch 2, verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. So now, like I was saying, I came from Suriname, now I'm here in Holland, and the Dutch also had a part in the slave trade, and basically I'm in the land of captivity. I'm not in the homeland, in the home base, which is Israel, and also with our other brothers that are in Babylon the Great, which is America. They are also in the land of their captivity. Or if you are in Tanzania or Australia, whatever, that's the land of our captivity. You're not in your homeland, which is Israel. So that's where we would start to think upon the Most High's name. And that's why this is that time period where faith is flourishing. The Most High is pouring out His Spirit here upon earth. And you see the Israelites are popping up left and right, coming back to their heritage. You see? Verse 33, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. So that's that promise that was given by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to the Israelites, by our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we are the heirs to the throne. We are the heirs to the kingdom, because the Most High is going to put us back in the promised land, which is the land of Israel, and He's going to set the crowns of all these kings. He's going to set upon His Son, which is Yahushai. His name is not Jesus. So Yahushai is going to be the ruler of everything, because by Him everything was created, and for Him everything was created. Like it says in the book of Colossians. So what is going to happen? Yahushua is going to be ruler. He's going to be heir. And we are going to be joint heirs. You see? The ones that are seeking righteousness in this time. Because you have 2/3 of our people, of the children of Israel, they are going to die on this side. Because why? They're not hearkening onto the warning. They're not hearkening onto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? Yeah, let me go to this real quick. Just popped into my mind. Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, 105, verse 8. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath with Isaac, unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, Unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, which is Israel, the lot of your inheritance. So that's the promised land. That's where he's going to plant us back in. He's going to put us back into our land, where we were kicked out of. And then everything is going to be set in order. Everything is going to flourish. You see? Verse 35. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, to be their power, to be their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. You see? So to go back, it says, And I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in the far countries, and they shall live with their children and turn again. You see, and that's that time period that we're living in right now. So we are turning back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with our children, because we that have children here in the truth, we try to raise them up the correct way, according to the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, keeping the laws, so that they also can be separate, so that they can be separated, become holy. You see? Because once you know better, you do better, right? Verse 10. I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria, and I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, a place, and place shall not be found for them. So if we go into that word Lebanon, which is Labanawan, and the outline of biblical usage says whiteness, and that's spiritual, because white represents righteousness, you see. So we now in this time, we are trying to put on that garment of righteousness. We are trying to put on that white robe, like it says in the book of Revelation, you see. But it also goes to say a wooded mountain range on the northern border of Israel. So it's a part of Israel. So we are going to be planted back in the promised land, like we just read. So it says, I will bring them again also out of the land of Egypt, and gather them out of Assyria. And what does scripture say in Isaiah? Isaiah 11:11. It reads, And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Patros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. So we already established that the Israelites are scattered across the four corners of the earth. The Most High did that. The Most High scattered us, you see. So we are in these other countries, even in the land of Egypt, even in the land of Assyria, Cush, Elam, which Elam are the Indians. We are in their countries because we went into slavery. They dispersed us. They scattered our families so that we wouldn't be a strong household, so that we wouldn't remember ourselves, we wouldn't remember our heritage. So they scattered us. They sent the mother to India, send the father to America, send the children to South America, you see. So that's how we got scattered also in this time of the slave trades. But what is the Most High going to do? The Most High is going to gather us, just like how he gathered us and saved us in the time of Egypt, when we triumphed over the Pharaoh through the spirit and power of the Most High, of course. You see? So it's going to happen again the second time. Verse 11, Zechariah 10:11. And he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart away. And so the Most High, what is he going to do? He's going to come with his chariots, just like in the time of Moses with parting the Red Sea. That was the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai doing that, and he had a chariot in front and in the back, leading us and guiding the way, guiding us in that whole process. And the same thing is going to happen the second time. The second time when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to manifest himself or make himself known is also through the vehicles of salvation, his chariots of salvation, like it says in Habakkuk. Habakkuk 3. Habakkuk 3 and 8. And it says, was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? You see, the same thing, the same encounter. Because here it says, and he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and shall smite the waves in the sea, and all the deeps of the river shall dry up. You see, so the bottom of the river is going to be exposed. The waters are going to dry up. The waters are going to stand like walls through the presence of the Most High. So that's what's being said here. Was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon the horses of and thy chariots of salvation? You see? So the seas were roaring, the waves were lifting up, the rivers were drying up, all because of the chariots and the vehicles of salvation. You see, the presence of the Most High is doing that. So that's exactly what is going to happen for the second time, when he's going to save the children of Israel, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, if you didn't know. So again, it says, and the pride of Assyria, which the Assyria is this comparison of rulership, because you had the Assyrian captivity, but now we are in a captivity where the Edomites are ruling. So basically, Assyria is pointing out the rulership, the ruler class of right now, which are the Edomites, the so-called white people. You see? And the same thing, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. And like it says in the book of Revelation, we are basically living in spiritual Sodom and Egypt. You see? So this comparison of Assyria and Egypt is speaking about the rulers right now. They are going to be broken down. They are going to be brought low. The pride, their pomp is going to be brought down low. You see? So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to come for his people. He's going to come for the children of Israel. And he's going to take down the rulers of this wicked society. Let me jump to scripture popped into my mind. Joel 3, verse 19. And it says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. So it says Egypt shall be a desolation and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. So those two are interchangeable with each other. So when it speaks about Egypt in this sense, it also speaks about Edom. Because why? The Edomites, they are in rulership right now. They are the ones that are going to be taken down. They are the ones that are going to be made desolate. You see? So they are the modern day pharaohs. The Edomites that are in rule right now, because you have the normal Edomites, the pedestrians or the normal people, but you also have the ruling class, which know who they are and know who they have to keep down, because they shoot secretly at the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They know that as long as they have us in a certain vibration and in a certain state of mind, that they are going to prolong their rulership. You see? So let me go back to this and end it off with verse 12. And it says, "And I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, said Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai." So in the end, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, he is the one that's going to pour out his spirit upon us. He is doing his marvelous works through his people, through his men. It starts off with the men, they first stand up, and then you're going to have the women and children that are going to follow, because you have the 144,000, which are going to be the governing body, the ruling class in the kingdom that is to come. But you also have the ones following them, the innumerable multitude, which is going to consist of men, women, and children. But because the Most High, he is going to multiply the nation. So what is needed? Women, and a lot of women, because a man can get multiple women pregnant in one day. But a woman, once she is impregnated, then for 9 months she can't bear another child or do anything, you see. So a lot of women are going to be needed, and the Most High is going to hasten it in his day, you see. Let me grab that real quick. Salakia, what was it again? I believe it was the book of Daniel. Isaiah 60, verse 22. "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time." You see? So the Most High, he is going to multiply us at that time, because the nation has to be brought back in its right mind, through the loins of the ones that did their best on this side, trying to escape the grasp of Esau, trying to rip themselves apart from this Babylonian society that we're living in right now. We're brainwashing ourselves. We're reprogramming ourselves with the scripture through the washing of the word. That's how we're brainwashing ourselves. You see? We're deleting the program that has been uploaded in our mind through Esau, through Babylon the Great, which is America. And we formatted that, and now we are uploading the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. That's why Yahweh Shai said, when a child was going to run to him, he said, okay, leave the child, because this is like unto the ones that are going to enter into the kingdom of heaven, roughly paraphrasing. You have to become as a child. You have to format everything that you already know so that you can receive this truth. You see? Gone. So with that, I hope this video is edifying. And I want to say, Kala Yamla, Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rekah Kodash, Shalom Atem.